Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to EVE Online, and for today's video I am going to show you guys a Myrmidon that I built. And in the video I want to basically discuss the fit, why I put what I put in there, and what I want to do with this Myrmidon, or what the aim of this fit actually is. So let's maybe start with that. The goal is to have a Myrmidon that can handle C1 combat anomalies, that could also defend itself if like just one tech tree would drop or something like that. I might still have a chance against that, but it should be able to solo C1 combat anomalies without too much trouble and with decent efficiency as well. So it's focused mainly on that, then just a few modules added in there to give it some PvP capabilities. So what did I go for? Now, low slots, let's start with that. Pretty standard stuff, I think. Damage control, take 2, medium armor repair, energized adaptive nanomembrane, energized adaptive nanomembrane, energized explosive membrane, and drone damage amplifiers. All of that take 2. So it's pretty basic tank. Without the damage control on, I'm at like 62 at the lowest resist, and the other ones are 68 and 71. So it's pretty good overall, decent resistances, and with the bonus to armor rep that the Myrmidon gets, of course, the take 2 medium armor repair can actually get quite a bit done. And then it is a drone boat, so a drone damage amplifier for that. In the rigs, I went with 1 medium auxiliary nanopump, which increases the amount of repair even more, so that's actually pretty good, I think, with the bonus that the Myrmidon gets. And then 2 Trimark armor pumps for more hit points. This is with the PvP in mind, you know, it gives me a bit more buffer, it gives me a bit more time, and maybe my drones can then do the damage they need to do. In the medium slots, I think this is pretty normal. I've got an afterburner, so I prefer this over a micro up drive because it allows me to spin tank a little bit without needing to increase my my radius too much. So I feel that this is better when you're dealing with sleepers. A target painter, that's just going to help against like the small sleepers and the medium ones that try and orbit you at 40 kilometers, stuff like that. But then of course I did go with a cap booster with a couple of 400 booster charges in there. This is hopefully, when I get into the PvP situation, the most common tactic I've seen so far in our experience is the neuting. So that should help me to stay alive, to be able to rep a couple cycles off of the cap boosters. And hopefully, yeah, this is something that can help turn the tide in a PvP situation. And then a web and a scram, I think this is pretty classic. I want to catch whatever comes in there. And honestly, web TP and a few small drones will actually cut down the small sleeper drones very quickly as well. Now the high slots, this is probably not the best, but I did go for heavy modulated pulse energy beam ones. At first I was looking into, let me maybe quickly go to the market for that. Ship equipment, turrets. At first I was looking into projectile turrets. The reason for this is that the Myrmidon doesn't have a bonus to any weapon system outside of drones, so it's 10% drones to drone points and damage, armor repair amount 7.5%, and then you can fit a link, but that's it. And so I was hoping to get some projectile turrets because they don't use any cap. But both of them have a problem. The artillery cannons have way too far and optimal for what I want to do, and then the auto cannons have too low and optimal for what I want to do. And so I came out with a couple of lasers. The reason is this has an optimal of 15 kilometers. Now with the multi-frequency, that cuts this in half, putting the optimal at around 7 to 8 kilometers. And this is actually still really good against those small sleeper drones that will tend to orbit at 4 or 5 kilometers around me. Add a web and a paint and I can actually hit them with all 5 of the lasers. This is also good for a PvP situation. If I do catch my target webbed and scrammed, then it's the multi-frequencies orbit at around 5000 and I should be able to apply maximum damage with these lasers. On the other hand, if I use the other, let me see if I can show that here. Yeah, if I then use the standards Imperial Navy crystals, what this does is it brings the optimal back to the 15-kilometer normal range, and that's just right if something smaller is trying to keep a point on me with a long point, you know, 15-16 kilometers. They'll try and orbit in that range, but my lasers will still be able to hit them. So I feel that this is okay, and the reason I took these specific heavy modulated pulse energy beam ones is because A, they have the right optimal for what I want to do, and B, their fitting requirements allowed me to fit all 5 of them in the high slots. So that's what I did there. And then finally we'll have the drones, I guess, which is also pretty standard, I think. 5 Hammerhead 2s, 5 Hobgoblins, 4 Ogre 2s, it can't field 5, and then 5 salvage drones as well, since we are doing some combat anomalies, and the salvaging is where most of the money is going to come from. So that's it for the drones. Yeah, this is basically a test a little bit, but this is my idea of a Myrmidon that is pretty much specialized for C1 combat anomalies. You know, those small drones should be cut down pretty quickly with my lasers, the web, the target painter, and whatever drones I want to use. And then you've got some of those mediums. Some of them will come pretty close at like 15 kilometers, stuff like that. Still perfect for the other crystals. And then the guys that are further away, there's a couple of them. I'll just have to try and get in range as fast as I can, or just let my drones do the damage with the target painter. And then if I do come into a PvP situation, I can actually use the cap booster, the web, and the scram to try and finish things off pretty quickly. DPS wise, it's okay. I feel 460 DPS. I think that's with 4 Ogre 2s out, and then 189 DPS from the turrets. It's not really that great, but it does add a little bit at the cost of cap. But I feel that this is okay. I do feel that I should be able to handle this side solo, which I normally don't do. I always try and go with like my brother or Katsu on these anomalies, but now I'm trying to explore some solo options to do these sides, and I feel that this is actually pretty cheap and pretty manageable skill wise as well. And so yeah, as soon as I can, I'm going to take this baby out for a spin in C1 Wormhole and see if I can do a nice combat side with it to give it a good test. But this is my idea for it. If you guys have any criticisms, or if you have any specific fits that you use for the Myrmidon in C1, maybe C2 wormholes, you know, the pretty easy stuff that it can handle pretty quickly, and definitely solo, even if you don't have all of the skills just yet and things like that, then feel free to post those in the comments. I'm very curious, and at the moment that's a little bit of what I'm exploring in EVE Online, is some cheap fits that can handle wormhole stuff quick in and outs and go into a combat situation. Now, no probes. That is because of the way I'm playing at the moment, so I'm doing all of my scouting in, let me see if I can break out that baby. I'm doing all of the scouting in the Helios right here. So that one is obviously covered up. It's got the probe launcher, but also the relic and the data analyzer, just in case I find any of those. I scout around the wormhole, and then I look for maybe a few good combat anomalies, but I get all my bookmarks ready in this ship, and after that I come back in the Myrmidon, make some extra money, and then get back out. That's basically the plan for this Myrmidon, just so that I don't need to have the probes in there. It's a little bit of a risk, but if I'm careful enough with the state of the wormhole when I scout everything out, I do feel that I'll be perfectly fine. So yeah, there you go guys, C1 Myrmidon fit. That's my idea of it. Feel free to post in the comments what you think about it, and definitely how I can improve it, because I'm looking for something that can really finish those sites decently, efficiently, very quickly, but also be somewhat ready for a PvP situation as well. Anyways, there you go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.